Color. Why is it so important? Every little pixel on your screen right now is generating endless variations in colors, shades, lights, darknesses, and everything in between. Human eyes perceive color differently, monitors display them differently, and a lot of the time, most people don't even care. Yet despite that, if you're watching this video, you probably care. Like me, someone who cares way too much about making my films look as visually brilliant as possible. Despite the fact that in reality, most of the time it's going to be watched on a phone, potentially vertically and maybe with the brightness turned all the way down. But here we are, talking about color, and me, again, spending way too much time coloring my videos. Alright, this shot's over.
Anyway, monologue over. The reason I'm making this video is because Dehancer reached out to me, which is kind of insane in itself, and asked if I'd like to try their plugin. And given that I have investigated in the past, I was like, sure, yeah, I'd love to be honest. I also spend way too much time coloring videos that never usually watched by anyone or even make it off my hard drive. So yeah, I'm here making this video. And I will be super candid, if you haven't got that already, that I am not a professional colorist, anything close to, probably definitely never will be actually. But I do love doing it. I've loved experimenting the past couple of years. And of course, the look that I have been going for, as everyone seems to be going for on the internet right now, is the film look and trying to replicate film stocks and colors and grain and all that, but I think it has come a long way in terms of ease of accessibility, how easy it is to pick up, and also just like the tools that are available. I've used in the past Film Unlimited, Cine Print and Film Vision. I have all three and I love all three, although I tend to not use Cine Print as much because I find that it's kind of like a very specific look that's very easy to tell. Film Unlimited was kind of my go-to, but I'll be honest, I have tried Dehancer and it is, you know, it's a lot more complicated, but it's pretty good. But anyway, I'm not going to sit here and give you a tutorial because I'm not good enough to do that, but I have somehow still done that. So I'll kind of just run you through some clips I've graded with it as I was learning how to use it, and I'll quickly kind of grade some clips, but I would recommend you watch other people's more in-depth tutorials because I'm definitely not the person to take advice from on this. But yeah, so far, so good. Okay, so here we are. I am gonna basically run you through two clips that I have already graded with Dehancer, because I was just kind of learning it, to be honest. It is definitely different to the power grades I've used, but also there's a lot of overlap between the kind of same techniques and node structures, and I really don't know what I'm talking about. So as I said, I will do a link somewhere to some great tutorials. There was two that I followed, and they were super helpful in explaining the whole process and going into great detail about everything. I would recommend you watch them because they're great and they are going to explain everything way better than me. But basically, I have these two clips here, and I'll pop you into here. So this was the first clip that I ever graded, essentially because it's just because I've just been skiing. I took loads of videos. The issue with the skiing is the weather was there was some sunny days and there was some cloudy days. On a cloudy day like this, when you're somewhere with snow, it's just loads of white. So I tried to find an opening shot that was just a decent balance of white, not super bright, not super dark, but it has some nice greens going on here with the trees and some nice warmth with these buildings. So essentially, this is it with the grade. Editing colors, I have a monitor in front of me and then I have a MacBook here, MacBook with like the full display of what's going on, but I tend to find that the Mac really like adds color and contrast, and the screen that I've got is quite like lacking in contrast and color. So there's probably a middle ground that I should meet and actually accurately set up the color profile on my monitor, but I've tried and I've failed. I need like a special little thing that you can do the thing with. So I just kind of, no matter what, as I've said in that intro, it will be viewed on so many things. You just find a good middle ground and I'm sure you'll be happy. So yeah, this shot, there's a lot of reds, and to be honest, I always run into issues with reds on color grading, where I find them peaking, especially with B-raw. I think that's just because I'm not trained enough in color grading, but to be honest, I'm kind of happy with these reds. They are popping a bit, nice bit like fringing coming off there. I think with the halation, I did find that with the halation on Dehancer, almost it's a lot more subtle than I used to turn halation off whenever I'm using Film Unlimited, because it just looks really like fake and like it's a big giveaway. But I kind of liked it here. It brought out the oranges a bit more, instead of just adding like bloom to every single highlight. But there aren't many like lights or like bright sources of light going on in this scene. Saturation, I boosted it a lot, because again, this seems pretty desaturated apart from these reds here, which I think is the issue, and I could probably isolate the reds and turn the saturation down, but I don't have time for that. You just slap the grade on, and if it looks good, it looks good. I know there's like people will be crying that it's not the right way to do it, and I know I should be tweaking things more, but sometimes I've just got to get an edit out, otherwise I'll lose interest in it. And if it's a client edit, they are not, like, as long as the final image looks good, it's the white balance is balanced, and you know, you're not going for a super crazy finite look that you do have to hone in on, then it's like, yeah, just let the plugin do the work. And I'm very happy to let the plugin do the work. Color space transform, again, watch a tutorial on this. Super simple. You just input the camera you're working with. I have got a B-roll clip to work on later. And Dehancer actually has profiles for that specifically, so you can actually avoid that step and just turn it off. But obviously it makes a huge difference because you're converting the output from the Sony S-Log into Rec 709, so Dehancer can understand the kind of like picture profile you're working with. And so now into the plugin. Again, watch a tutorial on this. I am not the guy to talk about it, but it was a lot to take on at first. Like, this is a lot of settings. I kind of was getting used to my little node trees that were pre-programmed from the power grade, and to be honest, I was just copying a lot of grades over and then just tweaking it from there. There's a lot of options. I mean, specifically in the profile section, there is just like so many film profiles and looks you can apply. I've just stuck with 500T because it's classic, you know what I mean? Like, all the Kodak Vision 3s are very classic, very safe, but obviously you can go however far on a look you want to go. This is a video that I just want to be subtle. I don't want it to be crazy. Obviously I'm not up the mountains with a 16mm 35mm camera, so I'm not trying to like make it seem like I am. I'm just trying to make it look nice. And then, yeah, again, all these sections you can play around with. You can kind of vaguely see the halation pulling out those oranges a bit, which is why I liked it. And I think for all of them, for the grain, I played with it for a bit on a custom setting, but I was kind of like, I'm actually just not doing much here, so I've stuck with their settings, which is again like super cool. Obviously with a power grade, you're limited to DaVinci's halation and grain. Yeah, I like the fact that this is just, there's so many more options. Again with DaVinci's one, is that it's still good. It's just this is more. And yeah, you can see I've played around with a bunch of stuff. Again, I was boosting the saturation a lot. This tutorial I watched was talking about how he always likes to boost saturation like way up. I like a saturated shot, I like a desaturated shot, but for this one we needed a boost. Anyway, so I'm gonna stop waffling. This is the other clip I did already. This is Lizzie looking great, stunning. This day was obviously a lot more sunny. I haven't edited any of these clips, so excuse all the random stuff outside of it. I think I messed with the red very slightly because, you know, any change you make is going to be a pretty major change, and then again you're gonna have to isolate skin tones if you want to mess with something like red. And again, I'm not going to be spending that much time on editing these kind of shots when it's just a quick personal video, because the shot looks great. I think it looks great. You've got a lot of nice warm colors going on. I think the white balance is probably a bit off. It's probably like leaning towards a sort of more orangey look on the snow, which should in theory be white, but I want it to be warm shot because it was a lovely sunny day. It gives that kind of retro filmic warm look. You've got the kind of oranges in the mountains and in the background. The greens aren't popping as much on this one, but we'll survive. But yeah, this shot looks great. Yeah, I feel like I will be using this for more like documentary style stuff where you're going for a consistent look throughout, and a more kind of like high quality honed in look where I actually have to spend time on it. Whereas for stuff that I'm not spending so much time on, I'm probably just going to switch and swap between my power grades and Dehancer depending on what I'm feeling like. Again, I feel like Dehancer with those options that you see in here, if you are going for a really niche kind of look, I'm definitely using this because I'm not going to spend the time on a power grade to figure out how to emulate some crazy film, because the power grades I've got are only 500T and 250D and then Cineprint 16. So yeah, if I am going for a more experimental look, which hopefully I'm going to try this year, I'm definitely going to be hopping on this and just playing around with those profiles, because like literally I will click this and like instantly now you've got a much colder shot. So finally I'm just going to quickly work on a Blackmagic RAW shot just to show it working on a different camera. So I'm going to do the same thing and just apply that grade, and again instantly, maybe it's a bit warm, but instantly this looks, I could deliver this and someone would be like, yo, this looks insane. With a raw footage, I believe you don't actually need the CST, because what you can do is choose camera here, Blackmagic Design, 6K. I'm shooting on Gen 5 ISO 400, and obviously it looks a bit different, but that's because I'm going to have to go and play around with my contrast. But again, you can see that actually just looks a lot better. They've obviously figured out with whatever crazy science they have behind the scenes here, and instead of using the CST, you can use their kind of setup here to get a more honed-in look. And I'm actually really pissed off because this is a shot that I've already used in a film that I've already put out, and this instantly looks way better than any grading I applied on it. I think I used Film Unlimited for that, and that's not on Film Unlimited, that's on me being an absolute idiot with color grading. But yeah, that shot is already looking better than I originally graded. I'd have to cut it there and adjust the exposure as like a separate shot because I pumped up the ND. But yeah, I mean, that is just looking like proper film, you know, which is just kind of insane. Every time I use one of these power grades or plugins, I'm always just somehow further blown away by what they can do. But all in all, those shots, very happy. I'm sure I could tweak more and play around with more. But yeah, like these skiing ones, I'm happy now to just go on to my project, apply grade to like certain days where the weather was the same, and just maybe make some tiny tweaks, but kind of just bulk apply because I was shooting the same white balance throughout. So yeah. See, I told you I wasn't very good at this, but hey, hopefully it's given you something at least, or just showing you or made you aware of Dehancer if you weren't already aware of it. As I said probably in that thing, with color grading, what I've learned, and probably stole from a YouTube video, is it doesn't really matter as long as you're getting your core of like white balances, contrast, exposure right. But even that, to an extent, it's just up to you. As long as the final grade and image you're getting looks good and is potentially consistent with other shots in your project, it's good. It works, and if it works for you, then that's kind of what you should be happy with. Obviously, if you're delivering certain client work for specifications that they require, maybe that requires more technical know-how and figuring out exactly what look to get to fit their ideas. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm kind of just making stuff for myself here with this kind of look, and I just play around until it looks good and then kind of just copy it across the project. I think where Dehancer stands out from your average power grade is, whilst it can be really quite daunting at first, not complicated as I said earlier, but daunting, like seeing all those different options, it is essentially the same as a power grade in that you just take each section as it comes, figure out what does what by just turning things on, sliding sliders places, and like that is the way you do this thing, especially at a level like me where I'm just not anywhere near anyone professional. So yeah, you play around, and I think it definitely does give you a much more refined look than a simple power grade might, and definitely there's a lot more options to play with there to create a very alternative look that might still be possible with a power grade and standard grading, but you know, it's going to take you a lot longer and a lot more watching videos. In a way, Dehancer is sort of like a film lab. Not that I can really say I've ever been in a movie film lab, but you know, in the flow of it, in the way they've named sections, in the way they've set sections up and settings up, you are working almost like with film techniques but on digital footage. And I think that's kind of how it should be, because essentially what we're doing here with this film look that we're all trying to create is we are like ripping a style from actual physical film. And obviously it'd be lovely to shoot on physical film. That's maybe one of my next video ideas, but it's quite expensive, and a plugin like this, whilst it has a price tag that comes with it, you're trading off spending so much money on film, and you're also able to experiment with way more looks, maybe film stocks that have expired, that don't exist anymore, all within a digital platform, all within a click of a button. And I think that's kind of it. You know, you just are pushing these sliders each way until you get something that you like the look of, and I think that's what it should be about. Anyway, thank you so much again for watching. Thanks to Dehancer for hooking me up with this plugin, and for just letting me mess around with something that I probably wouldn't have messed around with necessarily. I probably would have stayed in my lane. So yeah, I do have a link, a special crazy link that you can use to get 10% off any of their licenses. They also offer the software for Premiere and Final Cut, as well as DaVinci. So yeah, they do a 2-week free trial. So download the trial, mess about with it, see if it's for you, because if it's not, that's fine. There's so much stuff out there that I do think you really need to play around with these things to figure out what suits you and what gives you the style that you're looking for. But yeah, thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. Maybe this is some sort of rebirth on YouTube for me. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, thank you, and maybe I will catch you soon. We shall see. We shall see.